shed. I've been squirreling away at the front guard. I'm getting ready to hot rivet. I had to spend an hour cleaning up the shed because it was a pigsty. I used the guard I had, the old moth-eaten one, to measure from the mounting point of the guard to where the rivets are at the front, and I did the same at the back. There's 2 rivets at the back and there's been 3 rivets at the front. So I'm going to assume that that's what it is. Now the brackets I got from Pete, the fabricator, have 2 rivets at the back and 3 at the front, oddly enough. I did enlarge the hole size and I went out to 17/64. I happen to have some 1/4 inch solid rivets. Now I've enlarged the hole just a skosh, which is an official measurement, to just allow me to heat the rivet up, slide the rivet through. So I think I've gone out like 0.5 of a mil, something like that, and then beat the back of the rivet over. So I took the measurement, measured it down. Then I measured from the front of the guard to get the measure and made 2 points and a cross. Then I used a piece of tape to create a straight line, which let me get a mark on the guard. Bit complicated, isn't it? Suppose I could have done the inside, but I didn't. And then I had centre points for these holes. I've drilled one and I've put a bolt in it. I'm now going to drill the other 2 and then I'll be able to think about hot riveting. But I might do the back first. We'll see how we go. Now, this drill bit's as blunt as my head, so I'm going to get a sharper bit and I'll bring you back when I've drilled the holes. That hasn't gone too badly. I've done the bottom as well, and I'm just in the process of pulling the tape off. So I use the tape to create a line across the guard, trying to get that as straight as possible, because especially this bottom bracket, I need it to be straight so that that front standy, heavy, brackety thingy sits straight. So it's come up all right. I got one side in, I marked it, punched it, and I put a bolt in it. And the other side, when you get it back in the right place, we'll take a bolt as well. Why are the bolts in it? Well, to make sure that I'm right before I go too far. I want to see it and get a feel for whether I've done a good, decent enough job. So already I can see the bolts are about lined up. The bracket is about straight. It's about the same point as it exits the edge of the guard. And the front, well, I've only got one bolt in there, but I've got the 3 holes and it looks all right too. So I'm pretty happy with that. So that's been a good result. Not dreadfully hard, but a little bit of layout and a little bit of setup to get it right. So that's why I had the cleanup, so I could create bench space. Now I'll get on, pull this tape off, and then I think I'll set up and try and hot rivet. One of my favourite things. You might remember when I did the guards off the torpedo that I flattened the top of the rivet and I wasn't happy, and I had a plate that I put a recess in. Just doing that again. Can't find the first plate. Doesn't matter. I'm looking a bit dirty and grubby, but that's what it is. This is real life. Is it perfect? Nah. Is it good enough for me? Yeah, hell yeah. I'm really happy with that. It's something we can all do. I've just gone slightly oversized on these holes. Whether I should have, but you know what? The bracket's gone in. They've beaten over really well on the back. I'm really happy with it. Good outcome. Time to drop the front wheel out of this thing and to see about putting the front guard in. Right. Now, it's semi-stable, but the front wheel needs to come out to get the guard in. Rightio, I've found a 5/16 nut. I've found two brackets. One's the original that I think I decided fitted slightly better than the reproduction one. So let me work out which way they go because the hole's offset, and then I'll get sorted. I think the bracket went inside. I'm not really sure. I don't know. Now I can't remember. But I do remember was a bugger to put on. I'm going to take this microphone off. I'm going to fit this thing and we'll go from there. From memory, this was hard to get on the first time. But this time, for whatever reason, I've got it done. So it's tightening up a long way, mainly because the support bracket underneath was bent, whoops, and it's now cinching the whole thing up, the whole guard up. Yeah, got to be pleased with that. That looks really good. I'm happy with that. I'm going to put that other one aside, and we'll see how we go. The original one appeals to me a little bit more. I've been working away pretty hard at this front guard this afternoon, and I've attempted to fit the rear, I suppose it's a front stand to be honest, and the stays off the other bike. No, I haven't had a good result. I fitted the front stays first and then couldn't get the back to fit. And there's about, I don't know, 1.5 inch gap. Then the decision had to be made, well, what do you do? Do you build new front stays or new rear stays? Now, I believe that these are correct, that this is right. So I've fitted that and I've undone the front. Now, I've got a friend who's a blacksmith and he'll remake those for me, and, you know, there's no big deal. But it just shows that these bikes are not all consistent. The other bike, the guard, the stay and the stand all fitted. This one, they don't. So is the radius wrong on this guard? Do I have it fitted incorrectly? Is the radius wrong on the other guard? Was the stay fitted in a different place? Should it be bent to fit? What is the question? Really interesting. On this set of forks, there's threads in the fork legs, and these bolts thread in. On the other fork legs, the nuts are actually required to hold it into place. Now, I've put locking nuts on the back just to get it and give it a bit of uniformity, but they don't actually need it. All in all, I think the guard's fitted up really well, and I'm happy with it. But it doesn't look and didn't fit just like the other one. I'm going to wait until I get the front wheel back. Now the front wheel is another whole talk. The front wheel that's sitting down here on the floor that I considered to be correct doesn't fit in the forks. It's not correct. The offset is to the clutch side, and so it doesn't fit properly. In fact, it's like it's way too wide. Really confusing. You'd have to spring the fork legs a mile. That doesn't feel right. So I've decided that even though I kind of bought the bike for the front wheel, I'm going to put that front wheel back in the bike, the parts bike, with what I believe to be a correct rear wheel. And I'm going to put the wheel I made back in here because the offset's correct for the fork legs and the guard. Whew. Big doings. I'll show you more of that later though. I managed to get the front bars on, or the bars. Now, I don't like them. Girl's bicycle comes to mind in my mind, but perhaps they're correct and perhaps I should ease up on girls' bicycles. They don't look pretty to me. Anyway, they fit and there's no drama with that. They look okay, I suppose. I've also fitted the gear change lever. Now, it's taller, it's a better angle, it's where it's meant to sit, and there's no ugly bolt heads or rivet heads or anything daggy down here. Fit it up. I need to finesse the change a little bit to get it to move into all gears, and that's moving the rear plate and getting it to select properly. I refitted the seat to the bike. Now I had the devil's own trouble getting that to go back on. Why? Well, I don't really know, but the relationship of the frame, including the guard when the guard's bolted in, has changed, or something's different. And I had to flex it and push it and shove it and fight with it. I don't really know why. Perhaps the combination of parts isn't a good idea. Hey, there you go. That's Flat Tank Journey for another week. Boy, it's been a struggle. I thought the parts from one bike to another would interchange really simply. And they haven't. Been amazing. Which parts are wrong? Which bike's correct? I have no idea. I just don't know. I know the front wheel I made is wrong, but I know it fits. I know it's going to work. The front wheel I've got out of the parts bike, I think is correct, and it'll fit in the other bike and it'll work in the other bike. So it's going back where it came from. The front stays are going back where they came from, and I'll put together a nice parts bike. And I'll get new front stays made for this, and this will start to come into shape too. Object of the game is to get a really nice bike that I can putt around on or punt off to someone else, and to leave a parts bike that someone's got a chance in hell of getting together. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you like Flat Tank Journey. Get in touch if you got time. Hit the subscribe button.